Hi everyone. In the last lecture, we had a bit of a long look at the indexical in photography via the works and thoughts of Walter Benjamin, Roland Barthes, and Jeff Wall. We saw how Barthes established a language or poetics of photography that Wall responded to, and that formed part of his response to photography. But this week, I want to look at other ways to consider photography beyond the index. In photographic images, the past is magical. We can't see it anywhere else but in photographs. So let's rethink the index. A photograph celebrates neither the event itself nor the faculty of sight itself. In simplest form, the decoded message of a photograph is I have decided that seeing is worth recording it. That seeing it is worth recording it. Be it banal or infamous, this reduction by Berger makes the timing of the photograph, the when, more important than the what. So when he says the language in which photography deals is the language of events and all of its references are external to itself, he's saying that photographs aren't linear. That the history of a photograph isn't necessarily linear. That now in understanding a different understanding of time than we accept within most photographs, that multiple and many events go into making up an image and cascade from those images. Going back to last week's example by Atshay, outside of this image, time has changed. The building may or may not still be there. The women are probably or most likely gone. Time has, for want of a better word, progressed. Photography has, however, made the past perceptible. If this were a painting or written, it would be an act of imagination. A past in photography is undoubtedly real, but it remains a present and not a past. Photographs are possibly an accumulation of different presents. What now makes this image an image of the past if it is just a continual present, a recurring present? So both the present and the past become unreal, and this is a modal conflict. Photographs make something visible that is present only as something past. What do you think this photograph says? People in photos have faces, but the photo does not say, I am what is seen, or I am the other, or I am the face of things. Photographs are silent, but they call us to recognize ourselves in the other, to mirror ourselves in what we see. Our thoughts, our actions, and our prejudices get played out in looking at a photograph. They remind us of our alienation of the self in the other. Photographs, particularly portraits, exploit that explicitly. Photography makes strange that what is familiar, but also presents an unyielding objectivism. Photography has strengthened our expectation that seeing is knowledge. The camera is a machine with which we think visibly. At the same time, we are estranged from photography. The photographer is often not present in photographs. Instead, we, as Willem Flusser insists, see their techno-imagination. True or not, photographs are perceived to be instant capture by a photographer who lack complete control of the image because they recorded what was before them. Digital photography has brushed aside the doubt over the cognitive character of photography. We now participate within it, make adaptive pictorial choices, but this has also become algorithmic, post-human, and the subjective and the objective are continually in opposition, weaving in and out of view. A belief still lingers in photography's ability to describe reality truthfully, to represent it faithfully, and for it to report accurately. This raises the question, does photography give us a superpower of universal understanding? We use photography to aid recognition, memory, description, and to make archives better. But is it any better than the latest algorithmic and quantum models? Is this cultural understanding of photography archaic? With photography, the ability to present the world as a picture places us outside of our own human existence. Jeffrey Batchen discusses one of the inspirations for the invention of photography was that we wanted to withdraw the hand of man from representation, to let nature draw herself. The extra sight allowed via technology becomes confused with truth, understanding, and knowledge. However, other knowledge apart from the visual goes into our understanding of the world. For example, quantum physics says matter isn't solid, but more of an entanglement and twining. We don't see this in a photograph. We tend to believe in photography in the same way that we believe in our own sight. Seeing is believing. We miss the tricks. What we don't see doesn't appear to matter. When you look at Gursky's Ocean One, what is the first question you ask? And there's a lot to choose from. Which ocean is it? How was the picture made? Is that what it really looks like? These questions become before you even consider the construction of the pictorial space that Gursky has created. The shape of the image is photographic. Looks like something you would see through a camera lens. This adds a veracity to the image, even though you know it is impossible. Or is it? Think of this image in temporal terms. You are seeing an entire ocean all at once. A large portion of investment in this image is in technological wonder, but we hardly even recognize that. We are used to assisted viewing, and our beliefs in photography stem from this familiarity. Cameras and computers are both input-output devices. You feed information in, and via an invisible processing, an output can be created. In the camera's case, the output is a picture. The same information that makes up that picture can be turned into multiple outputs by a computer. You can turn an image into sound, into language, into numbers, or unprocessed information. It is no longer essential for a photograph to be a visual image. Analog photography is also an outcome of a process that computes the real and turns that into information. What happens in a darkroom is essentially no different in principle to the algorithms of a computer, and any deviation from the program results in variations. Different temperatures of developer, chemical makeup, toners, etc., all change and manipulate the information. And where does indexicality sit within that framework? A digital photograph is a visual representation of computer coding that connects human desires, thought, and emotions to the endless feedback loop of data processing. This is a positive view of the shift from production to information. The continuity of the photographic image aids our cultural and political understandings of contemporary life, as it has for nearly 2 centuries. The shift in production has left space for artists to investigate one of the things most central to photography, the photographic object. And we'll be looking at that in part 2. But to finish part 1, I will point out that this portrait by Gursky is of the industrial designer Jony Ive, who was chief designer at Apple from 1992 to 2019. He was responsible for making the design of personal computers as important as processing power and speed. And what a cracker of a portrait this one is.